So with that, we'll start an asana practice. You can find a comfortable seated position. You could put on some nice music. And I'll demonstrate some posture options, some asanas. Asanas truly mean seats. There are originally 4 seats, 84 written, and then many more extrapolated over time. So I like to start off with my hips elevated, either on a bolster like this, a pillow, a folded blanket will do. So you could sit up on the very edge of the prop, just your very edge of your butt lifted, and you could be crisscross, but I might try bringing one heel all the way into the torso and then the opposite heel to touch the former ankle. So the feet are kind of stacked or made a line, both touching the ground. I notice right now how one knee is off the ground, the other is mostly grounded. So I have a little imbalance here. So I'm just going to scooch around and roll forward so that my knees are fully grounded, forming a tripod, and then allow my sits bones to settle onto the prop. I'm actually sitting on the first heel, making a lock. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Allow the chin to drop to chest slightly, the shoulders to release away from the ears, the shoulder blades to peel back and together slightly, stacking the spine tall. Having some energy in the spine, but not too much. You might become aware of the body posture. Sense into where the body connects with the ground beneath it. And be aware of the spaces of the body that are free to the air around you. As you sit, know that you're sitting. Eventually, you may become aware of the body breathing. Or maybe that you are retaining the breath. And just notice this objectively, without judgment, just as a fact. Be kind to yourself. And now observe your body breathing. Bring all of your focus to wherever you feel the breath the most. It might be the belly, maybe the chest or the ribs. Could be high up in the collarbones, up in the neck. Maybe you sense the air moving in and out through the nostrils, even through the corners of the eyes. Release any places you may be gripping or have tension. Just notice the body breathing. If the breath is short and shallow, let it be short. Let it be shallow. If it's long and slow, let it be long. Maybe you smile at the slow exhalation. And taking slow breaths. Parasympathetic nervous system is stimulated. That rest, digest, recover part of your body. And simply by slowing down the breath, physiologically, the response is to slow the heart. Slow breath and slow heart means that the brain can be calm and relaxed. In this way, you're communicating with yourself through the major parasympathetic nerve, the vagus nerve, which has 80% afferent fibers, means flowing from the external organs into the brain, providing information to the brain, sensing the slowing and the calming of the breath and the heart, sending that information to the brain, saying that it's okay to relax. You don't have to work so fast or be so vigilant. Move into a pranayama practice, diaphragmatic breathing. You might bring a hand to your low belly. Inhale, fill the belly, feel it pressing against the hand. Exhale, slowly allow belly button to drop back towards the spine. Inhale, balloon the belly out without forcing, being subtle and gentle. Exhale, slowly, navel back towards spine. Inhale, fill the belly, let it bellow out. Diaphragm drops down. Exhale, navel towards spine, diaphragm moves up. Inhale, imagine that flat muscle of the diaphragm pulling down in the middle. Exhale, belly drops back, diaphragm moves up. Diaphragmatic breathing, most energetically responsible form of breathing, filling the most voluminous parts of the lungs, the base of the lungs, minimally engaging the accessory respiration muscles. Start to move into Dirga breath, the long 3-part breath. The first part is just as we were doing diaphragmatic breathing. The first part we bring our awareness to. The second part is the torso, rib cage, and the third part is the chest, and all the way up high into the base of the neck. So prana follows chitta, prana the life force energy, prana that is carried in the breath and in the blood and in the nervous system. Prana follows chitta. Chitta is the mind's eye, or the awareness, or focus. So where the mind goes, energy flows. Where you bring your awareness, the prana, the life force energy will go there. So we'll bring our awareness to the low belly, and fill the low belly, breathe in. Now forget about the belly, let it drop back. Keep filling up, spreading the rib cage, moving the air all the way up into the chest. Lift the breastbone, broaden the collarbones, all the way to the apex of the lungs where the neck comes out of the shoulders. Exhale slowly, fully, completely down the midline, out the tailbone, into the ground. Next breath is a passive recoil. Inhale, fill the low belly and the low back, moving the air 360 degrees. Forget about the belly, fill the ribs, let them splay open like wings, front side, back side. Keep breathing up to fill the chest, with the sternum, spread the collarbones and even the space between the shoulder blades. Exhale slowly, fully, completely. It's okay if these are 3 separate motions. Try not to force. You can dial this up or dial it down, making it more subtle or more dramatic. Inhale, fill the low belly, the low back. Forget about the belly. Fill the side ribs, front side, back side torso. Keep drawing the air up to spread the shoulder blades, lengthening the front side chest, all the way, maybe even up through the neck. Exhale slowly, fully, completely. Inhale, sweep both arms up overhead. Bring the hands together in prayer position, Anjali Mudra. Drop the bare hands back behind your back. Settle in. Imagine someone is pressing your elbows back to the space behind them. Let there be space in the front and sides of the neck. See if you can relax the shoulders away from the ears as you keep stretching the triceps back behind you. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, right hand down to the ground. Tilt over towards the right side. Notice if your gaze and your heart are down towards the ground, and see maybe if you can open up the heart space and the gaze towards the ceiling. Maybe you bend into the right elbow, crawl the hand out to the side a little bit to deepen into that side body stretch. Sensing the muscles between the ribs lengthen out, and the connective tissue, the fascia of the underarm, all the way through the elbow and the left pinky. Inhale, both hands rise up. Exhale, left hand down to earth. Tilt over towards the left. Really noticing where you feel the stretch the most. And keeping your attention in those areas. Triaging and cataloging from one place to the next. Feeling the saran wrap of the body slowly stretch from the top of the right hip, the right flank, right underarm, right elbow, right wrist, right fingers. Inhale, both hands will come behind you, maybe onto that prop or maybe onto the floor. Draw the shoulder blades together, puff the heart and chest open. Maybe the chin lifts up towards the ceiling. Maybe or maybe not. Only do what's comfortable and accessible for you today, right now. Slowly return the chin back to chest without straining, without harming. Practicing ahimsa throughout the asana practice, approaching the line of what's challenging and harmful and not crossing the line. And maybe sometimes you do cross the line and you're aware of that and you come right back to that space that is maybe uncomfortable but not damaging. And can we sit with our discomfort that is healthy in some way? Can we be there to support, have the space for things that are challenging? Walk the hands out in front of you. Maybe pausing halfway just to feel what the shoulders are like. Maybe wiggling side to side, swiveling the shoulders or the hips. And you can walk the hands out even further, melt the chest and the head and neck down between the shoulders. Fold forward, surrender. In our forward fold, noticing the breath in the backside body. Feeling the low back, the middle back, and the upper back. maybe even up through the neck and wrapping around the back of the skull to the crown center of the head. And exhaling down the spine and out through the tailbone. On an inhale, glide the fingertips back up towards the body. Inhale both arms up overhead, connecting breath with movement now. Start to twist towards the right. And as you twist, open the hands out towards T. Fingertips brush against the ground. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, twist the opposite direction. Start to open the hands out to T. Fingertips touch at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale, breathe up, back through center. Exhale, find your twist. Open the arms. Inhale to rise. Exhale to twist. Connecting your breath with your movement. So your rhythm might be slower or faster. It might be softer or louder. As long as you're not forcing. You're staying gentle and kind to yourself. Seeing here how yoga, asana practice can just be something to do while breathing. Next time the body's in center, pause there. Bring the hands together at heart center in prayer position. Lift the breastbone into the thumbs. Drop the shoulder blades down the spine. Feel proud through the heart space. Chin lifted slightly. Crown center of the head extending up towards the ceiling like a string is coming out the top of your head, pulling you ever so slightly up. Exhale, release the hands down in front of you and come onto all fours in tabletop position. Cat-cows, inhale, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. Exhale, chin to chest, tuck the tailbone, look back towards the hips. Inhale, scoop the heart forward. Exhale, arch the back like a scared cat. As you inhale and exhale, keeping the rhythm of your breath connected to the movement. Maybe you dial this up or down, finding more subtle or softer movement, or perhaps exploring your range of motion. See how close the top of the head can get to the tailbone, or how close the forehead could get towards the hips. You might even start to bring in any extra movements, maybe shrugging left shoulder to left hip, right shoulder to right hip. For lateral cat-cows, maybe gazing back over the shoulder as you shrug, wiggling side to side. Maybe you start to make circles with the hips, swiveling them. Maybe it's a figure eight. Perhaps you start to figure eight the shoulders as well, dancing lion, moving in one direction and then the other. It could be barrel rolls, taking the whole body to one side, down to the other side and up, and switching directions, just doing what feels good for you. I'm not really caring what you look like, just what you feel like. There's no right way or good way to do yoga. And if you ever find yourself on the opposite side or doing something than I'm doing, just know that your body wanted you to go there and it is completely right and valid. So finding some stillness now in your tabletop. To protect the wrists, press down into the first set of knuckles where the fingers arise out of the hand. And press down into the space between the thumb and pointer finger. You might grip the ground a little bit with the fingertips like frog fingers. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Slide the right foot back behind you, coming onto the ball of the right foot. Press the right heel down back to the space behind it and shift forward again. Pressing and lifting, massaging out the calf muscle and the Achilles tendon. You might stay here grounded, or maybe the opposite knee starts to draw up into the chest as you press the right heel down. Maybe you start to bring awareness into the spine, feeling a mini cat-cow spine with your movement. And this could start to get gradually bigger and more dramatic. And we'll start to wind back down, finding a still spot in Sunbird. Now slide the right foot over to the left side, crossing, and press the right heel back behind you. Maybe you gaze over the left shoulder, looking back at the crossed foot. Breathe. Inhale the right knee into chest. Tuck the forehead towards the knee. Exhale, send the right foot back behind you. Floating foot. Inhale, tuck knee into chest. Exhale, extend. Inhale, curl. Press the hands into the ground to round the back. Make space between the shoulder blades. Exhale, extend. This time, lower onto the arch of the right foot. Good. Now pick up the right hand, reaching up towards the ceiling. Make a nice line of energy from the left palm through the right palm. You could stay here, working on feeling the breath in the top of the right hip. Or use the strength of your core to inhale the arms and torso out to T. Pausing for a moment, stretching through the fingertips, opening through the heart. Exhale, melt the right hand down the right leg, left arm reaches overhead, gate pose. Maybe the left fingertips keep drifting forward. Might spiral the heart center open towards the ceiling, the gaze up towards the ceiling. Nice side body stretch. Release the head and neck down to the bottom shoulder. Beautiful gate. Inhale, arms come back out to T. Slowly, softly plant the left hand down on the ground and hover the right toes. We're in a low half moon. You might stay here, working on pressing the right foot up to about the level of the hip. Or maybe you bend the right heel towards the glute and capture the foot with the hand. If you have the bind, kick the foot into the hand. If you have the bind, slowly release. Wherever you are, lower down the right foot. Swivel the shoulders down to the ground, return the right hand. Coming back, hips squared to that sunbird pose. Drop the right knee, sit the hips down onto the heels, crawl the fingertips forward, and melt the heart down towards the thighs. Child's pose. Time for you to find your breath and decide where you want to fill your body. On the next inhalation, rise up to all fours, ripple forward. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Nice and gentle to start off. You can make movement a lot or a little. Maybe it's bending one knee at a time. Maybe it's turning the hips towards one side and then the other. Wherever you are, allow the head and neck to hang heavy between the shoulders. Lift the hips high, come on to the tippy toes. Now keep the integrity of the lifted hips, slowly allow the heels to melt down a little bit into the mat. Ripple forward to plank, shoulders over wrist. Drop the knees. Pause in tabletop position. Slide the left foot back behind you. Again, rock back and forth on the ball of the left foot. Cross the left foot over to the right side. Gaze back over the right shoulder. Maybe you keep rocking back and forth, or maybe your body is calling you for stillness. Listen to your body. Sense into places you don't usually pay attention to. That's body awareness. Draw the left knee into chest. Forehead towards knee. Extend the leg back behind you. Make a rhythm with your breath. Could be inhale or exhale as the knee comes forward. Tucking in. Breath. Foot moves back. I'll say inhale, could be exhale. Knee to chest. Exhale, send the foot back behind you. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, extend. This time, open the hips to the side, lower onto the arch of the left foot. You might kickstand the bottom foot by changing the angle 90 degrees. So it comes off the edge of your mat, gives you a little more balance, or it could stay aligned, tucked underneath of you. Sweep the left arm up, out to T. Stay here. Maybe you peel the body up, arms come out to T. Pour the left hand down, left leg, right arm reaches overhead. Breathing into the gate pose. Not dumping into any part, staying engaged through the legs, through the arms, and even the ears. Sensing, breathing, feeling. Inhale, both arms come back out to T. Equilibrate and slowly lower the right hand down. Perhaps the left toes float. In that low half moon, you could work on lifting the left foot up to hip level. Or maybe you bend the left heel in towards the glute, capture the foot with the hand, kick the foot into hand. Opening from the front thigh, front side body. Slowly release the hand from foot, lower the left foot back down. Cartwheel left hand down to the earth, re-square the hips, lower the left knee. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, down dog. From your down dog, keep the hips as they are and lower onto the forearms. The head might touch the ground, but see if you can keep pressing through the elbows and the forearms to allow the crown center of the head to hover off the ground. That's the strength of the top of the neck, the top of the shoulders. You might stay here working on sending your heels down towards the ground. Maybe you walk the feet closer towards the elbows. Maybe you interlace the fingers. Perhaps now you release the top crown of the head down to the ground and you embrace the backside of the hand with the interlaced fingers. Here we are in preparation for Sirsasana headstand. Kind of the king of all yoga poses. So with time, you might keep walking your toes towards your hands, lifting your hips high. Maybe one leg floats up and then the other, and you find yourself floating in Sirsasana, headstand. Or not. We'll come off the forearms, let the hips sink back to the heels. Relax down to child's pose. The hands could stay stretched out in front of you, or maybe you bring them back behind you towards the hips this time for embryo. Observe the quality of the breath and see it exactly as it is. When you're ready, rise back up the tabletop, kick the legs around to the side, and come on to your sits bones. Extend both legs straight out in front of you. Hands can come behind your body, fingertips pointing towards your toes. Press down into the palms and heels. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lower hips down. Draw the soles of the feet together. You might rock the hands underneath the feet or maybe around the feet. Thumbs could even massage the arches. Scooch out the fleshy parts of your seat so that the knees can relax down towards the ground. Encourage the hips to release the grip around the knees. Extend the right leg out to the side. Bring the sole of the left foot into the upper inner thigh. Crawl both hands down the right leg. It doesn't have to go all the way to the foot. You could pause at the shin, at the ankle. Or maybe you bind with the edges of the foot. It may even feel nice to cross bind. Left hand to the outside, right hand to the inside of the foot. But don't overdo it, don't force. It's okay if today is not as deep as yesterday. Allow the neck to hang heavy. Maybe you roll the chin up and down, side to side. Slide the fingertips up the leg. Appreciate your leg. Love your leg. Supporting you all the time. Ground the left hand down. Press down to the sole, the palm of the left hand. Roll onto the left shin. Pick up the hips. Send the right hand towards the ceiling. Maybe even it drifts back behind you. Open the body again. Exhale, slowly lower the hips back down. Reach the right hand towards the right foot, but roll the left hand around and re-forward fold into your head to knee pose, Janu Shirshasana. It's called head to knee pose, but it's okay if your head is not directly on your knee. All of these postures are directions to move towards, not goals to put your body in. So I like calling this head towards knee pose. We'll taste that one more time. Inhale, both hands out to T, left hand grounds down, roll forward onto the shin, lift up the hips. Exhale, lower the hips down, find center. Pause. Bring the right sole in towards the body. Extend the left leg out to the side. Right foot plants in the upper inner thigh. Crawl the hands down the left leg. Head towards the knee. Janu, which is the knee. Shirshasana. like headstand. Breathe into the space where you feel it the most. And if you're not stretching or going as far as you usually do, that's completely okay. Be comfortable with going to the point of the beginning of the stretch and pausing and waiting and being patient there, knowing that with time the body naturally relaxes, releases, lengthens, and allows you to go a little bit deeper. Glide the fingertips all the way up the leg, loving the leg, appreciating the leg, sending gratitude. Ground the right hand down behind your right hip. Reach the left fingertips towards the ceiling, roll forward onto the shin, lift the hips, open the body. Exhale, lower down. Tilt the left hand towards left foot, right arm reaches overhead. Maybe the right arm drapes over the head or next to the ear. Maybe it's just moving in that direction so that the heart can spiral open towards the side for a nice deep side Janushirasana. Keep your awareness in the breath. Notice spots where maybe blocked, retained, or forced. Soften in that space. Rinse and repeat. Hands come out to T. Plant the right hand. Reach the left fingers. Roll onto the shin. Lift the hip. Exhale to lower. Pause and neutralize in center. And bring both soles of the feet onto the ground out in front of you. And lower onto the back. Bring the hands down towards the feet. It's okay if the fingertips don't brush the heels. Preparing for bridge pose. Just take a moment to be here, to feel this posture. Now ground down through the soles of the feet, through the forearms and palms. Inhale, tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and then continue rolling the hips up. Lift up the hips. Roll the spine, the middle of the spine, the upper part. Now maybe you tuck the shoulder blades together, micro rolling onto one side then the other. Imagine like you're squeezing a block between your knees so that the knees don't splay out too much. You might even interlace the hands under the glutes. The shoulder blades can move closer together. Keep pressing down through the heels and the soles of the feet. Lift the hips by engaging the glutes and the thighs. Exhale, release the hands if they're bound. Untuck the shoulders, slowly lower down the top part, the middle part, and the bottom part of the spine. The tailbone and the coccyx are the last to land. Hug the knees into chest, drop the arms around the shins. Give yourself a nice hug. Maybe gentle rocking side to side. Lots of appreciation for your body, your mind, your spirit. Love for your introspection, your svadhyaya pranayam, self-study. Take the knees out to the wide edges of your body, over to the sides, and reach for the shins, the ankles, or the outer blade edges of the feet. Making a strong connection, a nice bind in your happy baby pose. Maybe a little rock side to side. Maybe you reach one heel up towards the ceiling And then the other, noticing maybe spaces where that might be too much. Being gentle and kind to your body. Perhaps you reach both heels out, lengthening both legs, drawing the toes closer to the face, rolling along the back to the shoulders. Exhale to slowly lower, hug the knees, or just drop them back into the chest. Moving through shoulder stand. Bring the hands and forearms onto the ground. Squeeze the knees into chest, using the strength of the core. Start to maybe rock back and forth a few times until you get some momentum, but you can lift the hips up off the ground and catch the top of the hips with the hands. Now keep your neck neutral. That means look straight ahead. And lift your heels and toes towards the ceiling. You might stay right here. Or maybe you start to walk the hands further up the back. Notice if you're compressing your throat or your chin too much, let there be space under the chin. Perhaps you keep sending the toes and the heels towards the ceiling as the hands walk up the back and you rest comfortably on the shoulder blades and elbows. You're in shoulder stand. And you could play around pointing the toes, flexing the toes towards your face, opening the legs to the side, bending the knees. One leg back, one leg forward. You can do all kinds of playing here. And the exit is by lowering the knees towards the head, bringing the hands down onto the ground or keeping them on your back and walking the hands down the back. I like to use the strength of my core hands on the ground to slowly roll the spine one vertebra space at a time down onto the ground. Keeping the knees bent for a second to neutralize the spine. Maybe hands come around the shins. Squeeze the forehead to the knees. Little core engagement. Slowly release the head back towards the ground. Open the arms out to T and let the knees drop over to the right side. You could stay right here, letting this twist unwind you organically. Maybe you want a little deeper, so you can bring the right hand onto the top knee just for a little weight. You could even wrap the top leg around the bottom leg for twisted roots. Pick up the hips and send them over to the opposite edge a little bit to do a nice deep twist into the middle and upper back. Breathe into that space. You don't have to go to any of these variations. The first variation is as valid and as important as the others. When you're ready, mindfully bring the knees back towards center. Plant the soles of the feet on the earth. Pick up the hips just to neutralize. Maybe you send the hips over to the opposite edge of the mat and then allow the knees to drop over to the left side. All options exist on this side as well. Left hand on the top knee for some weight. Crossing the legs for twisted roots, or just staying exactly as you are in this infinite and spacious unwinding twist. In your own time, draw the knees back up through center. Neutralize the spine, perhaps by lifting the hips. And then roll over onto one side in fetal position. Resting for a moment. Send gratitude to yourself, love for yourself, self-respect, self-admiration. Fill yourself up with these words. Press down into the earth to rise back to a seated posture. In lieu of savasana, we'll take a seated meditation. Maybe the opposite foot is in front this time. Allow the hands to drape over the knees, spine to be straight but not too energized. Noticing what might be different in this seat than the first seat of the class. Feel the breath. Ride the waves of the inhale and exhale. Allow the muscles of the face to relax. You can choose to anchor your mind to your breath, maybe labeling in, out, in, out. You could take an internal drishti, a single point of focus. Just bringing that to the space between your eyebrows, the third eye center, the wisdom center. Hear any sounds around you for exactly what they are, just a sound, without jumping to a label of what that sound is. Hearing the pure sensation of noise. Keep returning to the body posture, checking in if you're slumping or if your face is squeezing, finding your harmonious alignment and relaxation. And when your mind wanders, as it inevitably will, know that it's the nature of the mind to produce thoughts. And that in just noticing that you are thinking, you're doing the practice. You're forming a new habit of awareness. And you now have the opportunity to return to the breath and simply begin again. Each time you sit for a meditation is a completely new experience, oftentimes challenging when you're beginning, and rarely blissful. It's important to continue practicing, trying over and over again, turn the mind to a single focus. Because in those moments we find clarity and ease that we can carry with us throughout the rest of our life. May begin to deepen the breath, perhaps flutter the eyes gently open. I bring my hands together at heart center and I vow to you, I honor you. Thank you.